Maricel Hernandez. I'm the chair. And with me is Commissioner June Brown
Morning.
and Commissioner William Cressy.
Good morning.
Next item on the agenda is a roll call. Are there any suggested changes? If not, we'll proceed to the, I'm sorry, that was the consideration of the agenda. Next, we'll move to the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
I move to approve the minutes of February 22nd.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second by Commissioner Cressy.
Thank you. Motion approved, motioned up and seconded is, can I have the ayes, please?
Commissioner Cressy
Brown
votes
votes
aye.
Okay, both Commissioner Cressy and Commissioner Brown have voted aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Mr. Holliday?
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Excuse me?
Cressy and
Yes.
Commissioner Brown.
Are you recording?
Trish?
Yes, I am. Yes, it is in progress.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Again, good morning,
Thank you for
Madam
the
Chair.
reminder.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner Brown, Commissioner Cressy. First, I would like to start off introducing Karen Chen, our new HR director.
Hi.
Hi, Karen, and thank you for accepting the position. We're very excited to have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm excited as well. It's good to be back. I had, go ahead, Charles.
No, you go ahead. Say what you
Okay.
have to say.
I just want to let you know there are a few things that we've been working on since Joan Agnew was able to get us a new badge maker in HR. We've been working on replacing the worn out badges and putting pictures on those that didn't have pictures, which reminds me, Commissioner Brown, when you get a chance, please send us a picture so we can get you a badge.
Okay.
Okay. Lily and I had meetings with the the city's Department on Workers' Comp. We got a great overview and some good resources. Ahead of early voting, we met with Jong, who walked us through timekeeping in VRXG. We also met with ADP, who gave us some resources as far as how to do the payroll. And next week, Lily would like to start reaching out to the early voting administrators. That's kind of a few things that we've been working on. Some upcoming things are the city, I think Charles and Sandra help me out on this, but I believe the city is currently working on a reclassification, and we're trying to see if we are able to ask them to do a reclassification of titles for the board. I believe the Z schedule, looking at revising it for this year probably won't happen. It's probably going to be for 2023. And then the short term would be evaluations. I believe, Sandra, you said May 1st?
Correct. May 1st. I would like to start them, yes.
Okay, so that's kind of what's been happening here in HR.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Karen, can commissioners get new badges as well? Mine is a little unrecognizable at this point.
Sure, definitely. I'll put you on the list.
Okay, well, I'll probably wait till after the eye patch is gone, but okay.
Don't leave the patch.
Maybe I'll keep the patch. I don't know.
Okay, again, thanks, Karen.
You're welcome.
Along with the Assistant Director, Sandra Sperry, we attended the session of the National Association of Election Officials in Atlanta, Georgia. Entitled Lessons Learned in Preparation for Election 2022. Here, the different jurisdictions talked about the things that went on in their respective jurisdiction. Discussions were given on federal voting program, increase in public service, redistricting, audits, and election legislation. Again, it was a very informative session. Next, our mailing of the 2022 mailing canvas that will include a vote by mail application and an option to join a permanent vote by mail roster. Staff have been working on getting this complete and getting it ready to mail out. We ran into a situation on the envelopes, but since then, that situation has been resolved with our envelope. There was a shortage, but paper was found and envelopes was found, and that is all taken care of now. Along with Sandra Spear, our HR staff, our finance manager, Kimberly, and her staff, had our monthly meeting with the Office of Budget Management on operations and our spending. I believe this is a monthly meeting that has been started so we can make sure that we're on target with our budget and any other HR needs that our office are encountering. Also, we had a walkthrough of Block 37 with the Assistant Director, Sandra Spear, Christopher Tomzak, Assistant Manager of Pre-Election Voting, Audra Lewicki, Manager of Community Service, along with staff member Nick Logan, and our facility consultant, Dean Fatikas. Just looking at space to house election day standby judges, election coordinators, investigators, along with area for our touchscreen ballot proofing. We had a joint session with our staff and the staff of the county clerk's office on the joint petition program that is used during filing and record examinations. Things are in order for when the process of record examinations began. The assistant director and I met with Rahul Patel, our security specialist, about the risk and vulnerability assessment of our system. He gave us explanation of items and recommendations to continue to keep our system safe from cyber threats. Last, I began to have discussions with the state board and the county board about the Edward Burns Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, where the funds can be used to deter, detect, and protect against threats of violence against election officials. I believe this will come really in handy for us since all three agencies were located here in 69 West Washington, and to update and beef up our security, I believe that would be a plus for the three agencies. With that, that's the end of my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Any questions from the commissioners? Okay.
One question, Charles, any idea with the beginning of petition filing yesterday? I got the impression we're probably going to see a lot of candidates, more than usual, or is it too early to tell?
I think we lost him.
I think we lost Charles.
Commissioner, good morning. If I may,
Mhm.
it's just word on the streets is that it's been kind of hard to collect signatures this cycle. So we're all kind of wondering what we're going to see at the end of the filing period. I think that Monday was a relatively average day for the state and for the county, but we may see more than usual towards the end of the period. And I didn't mean to step on your toes, Mr. Holliday, but we lost you there for a second.
Yeah, everybody was spinning but me, so now I'm good. Thanks, Adam. And yes, and also I was in yesterday, Madam Chair, and I did go down while the county was accepting petitions, and everything was moving real fine. They didn't have any issues.
Okay, well, I just saw the report that down in Springfield, the 8 a.m. line went all the way back to the Chuck E. Cheese, which
Hey, Commissioner, I
it's
didn't know.
Springfield, you know.
I didn't know they still had some Chuck E. Cheese. That was my children's favorite place for birthday parties.
Okay, so, we wouldn't normally be, it's the county and the state that have the majority of the petition filings, right?
No, they will
We don't have
file,
any right now.
right,
Right.
they will file with the state and the county. But
Okay.
out of the filings, if there are any objections to city districts, we would get those.
Right, right. Okay.
Okay, so Madam
thank-
Chair, also, I'm here with Lance, and he had a few things he wanted to speak on.
Oh, sure. Lance, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Uh, Just to let you know that on February 26th, Cole had a meeting, a community meeting, and I just, on behalf of Chairman Clarence Woods, he asked me to speak to the board and thanking Commissioner June Brown for her presentation. She set the tone of the meeting. The meeting was only supposed to last 90 minutes. It ended up lasting 2.5 hours. But I want to thank her for setting the tone of the meeting. You did an excellent job, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Brown, do you want to say anything about the meeting?
Well, I just want to thank not only Lance, but also the staff and Executive Director Holiday and Aspera for the support and the information that they shared, and Max in particular for helping me to prepare for that meeting and to share that information. And I look forward to working with them to see what else we can do with other people. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now we will hear from our Assistant Executive Director, Sandra Spera.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I must report that the canvas mailing will not occur at the beginning of this month as projected. But what I can report to you is that the test will be completed next week. April 15th is the date that all mailings will be completed. The application of election judges and election coordinators is now available online. The Community Services Department currently has received, as of this morning, a total of 3,516 election judges responses and also 765 election coordinator responses. As of today, the committee persons may start using the online system to assign judges. At the warehouse, the scanner upgrade and maintenance has been completed. ES&S is set to start the smart card upgrade, which will be completed in 3 to 4 days. This project will start in early April, and the staff is currently conducting an inventory of all supplies. And that is all I have to report.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
I have a quick question regarding the number of needed persons. You said, I heard the responses. Is there a number we're shooting for how many we need, and are we reaching out to other groups?
Sure. The normal number of judges of election we try to get approximately 10,000 judges of election.
Okay.
And 2,000 coordinators.
And what are the current numbers again, Sandra?
3,516 election judges and 765 coordinators. As of this morning.
Thank you.
Okay.
If I may, did you say the canvas?
Well, you faded out, Helene. Can you repeat that again? No, I can't.
I think you hit mute.
When is the canvas going?
When is the canvas going? Is that what you're saying, Helene? Okay, yeah, I was going to ask that also. So the canvas was scheduled to go out this week. Is that right, Sandra?
Yeah, that is correct.
And then,
we had issues with paper supply chain, paper supplies. We had issues with getting the paper and the envelopes for this mailing.
okay, so now what is the from the week of March 7th? When is the projected date that the canvas mailings will?
They should start going the end of March, but it should be completed by April 15th.
April, okay, that's what I thought okay, sorry.
Is that going to pose an issue with other mailings and
It should not.
because we have the 28th.
Okay, well, I would appreciate it if you would keep us informed as to that. And if there's any way this mailing could occur earlier than April the 15th, I would urge you to do so because we want the Canvas mailings to go out, and anything that has to be returned to us to be returned in a timely manner. Okay?
Yes, Madam Chair, April 15th, that is the completion date of the mailing, but it will go out before April 15th.
Right. What I'm saying is if the completion date can be moved up in any way, that I think that would be very important. And I would urge our contractor to do everything within its power to move that up. Okay?
We'll stay on it and keep you up here.
Okay. Next, Sandra, is that it for your report?
That is it. Thank you.
Okay. And now we'll hear from our Public Information Director, Max Bever. Max, hi.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairwoman. I'll just briefly mention the Canvas as well. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the purchasing department, who very quickly worked to overcome local supply chain issues and secure the extra paper needed for the envelopes to complete the Canvas and the VBM application and permanent roster question as originally planned. As they mentioned, we are working with our vendor. We expect some of those dates hopefully to be moved up. All of our work, everything is finalized on our end at this point, is just printing and finalizing and getting out by the end of this month. But I did want to mention we are putting together a communications plan for news media and social media to reach voters about this Canvas, so people know that it's coming, how to fill out the form once the mailings are in their mailbox, as well as continue to drive people to apply to vote online for vote by mail. We hope that this push for Canvas also drives people to use the online option, but this form option is also there for them to return. Second, we finalized our design for this year's I Voted stickers, and we're following up with our vendor there to make sure that we're ahead of schedule. We look forward to sharing that design with you and the public in the very near future. And we released our most recent episode of the City That Votes podcast, interviewing our new commissioner, Junae Brown. And we're already up to 150 listens. And she got a mention in last week's Politico for the podcast. So thank you again, Commissioner.
Great. Well, thank you, Max. It's been great, that podcast.
Well, thank you. It's been a lot of fun. And that wraps up my report for the week.
Okay, thank you. Helene, did you have a question? Were you raising your hand? Okay, yeah, I can't hear you anyway. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Now you're coming in.
No, I was curious about the Canvas dates, but I think that got covered.
Okay, and then I was at whose responsibility is the paper? It's not the vendor's responsibility to obtain the paper for the Canvas?
Yes, Madam Chair, typically it is. However, with the supply chain issues that we're having and the volume that we needed with regard, this is 1.6 million envelopes that go out and 1.6 million envelopes that could potentially come back in. So that was just a large undertaking for any vendor at this time with everything that we're experiencing, the problems with the supply chain. But that is typically on the vendor, correct?
Okay. I would still expect the vendor to have all of that and be adequately prepared, knowing what the issues are. So I am somewhat disappointed in that the vendor didn't, think about this beforehand. But let's hope that this gets done as soon as possible.
Yes, this has been a learning lesson for us all. So we are absolutely trying to get ahead of any other mailings that we have, any other large mailings that we have. We're making sure that we get ahead of schedule.
Exactly, and that all these vendors know that they need to secure these the supplies early on and not wait.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go now to old business. So I think infrastructure projects and changes in election administration, electronic poll books we discussed. How about voting equipment? Anything new there?
Nothing new.
No.
Legislation, Mr. Lasker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're still not seeing any action on the election bills that we're monitoring. Still expecting there to be an omnibus bill towards the end of the session. The session is scheduled through April 8th. So I think that later this month, or perhaps by the next board meeting here, but hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have a clearer picture as to what's happening. The reports are still to not expect anything major or controversial.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We will now proceed to new business, and the first item on the agenda is a professional services agreement with Ellen M. Schutzner, the certified forensic document analyst, who will speak to this.
Well, I'd be happy to speak to that, Madam Chair. Thank you. Ms. Schutzner has been retained as the board's handwriting expert or certified document forensic document examiner for several election cycles now. The staff has reported she is very easy to work with and does a very prompt and timely, accurate job. So we are requesting this contract to get her ready for the electoral board hearings to begin March 28th. And this contract would take her through 2023 elections as well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
Yes, Adam. It kind of goes back to the legislation as well. I know there was some talk in Springfield on a bill to audit the signatures on ballot request forms. One, how is that going? And part two, would Ms. Schutzner be able or willing, have discussions with her, to maybe do some sort of a tutorial for our judges with regards to signature comparison?
She has previously created and provided educational materials for our staff members and for the election judges who do signatures on both by mail applications and so forth. One thing that we have considered is to expand that education to the election judges who are doing the same in the precincts. She's very capable of doing that kind of educational work. She's created like PowerPoint slides before. She could do a video. So it's right up her alley, and it's also permitted. It's expressly authorized by the contract. So we're certainly taking those ideas and running with them.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, video would be really good, that election judges can view when they, when they have the time. So that would be a great idea. Thank you, Commissioner Cressy. If there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Ellen Schutzner for certified forensic document examination services with a contract value not to exceed $100,000 over the term of the agreement from March 14th, 2022 through March 13th, 2023.
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
Second by Commissioner Brown.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a professional services agreement with Jane Ignacio, the graphic artist. Mr. Lasker?
Sure. Ms. Ignacio has been working very closely with Max Bever and others in the creation of forms, signs, mailings, and so forth. And I think that, I don't want to speak for Mr. Bever, but I think he's been enjoying the process of working with Ms. Ignacio and finding that she turns around projects quite quickly, as our prior communications office did as well. And so she's got a current contract through the end of this month. The contract includes an option to renew it for an additional year. And we are requesting that the board approve that option to renew right now. So just to be clear, the durational term of this extension would be from April 1st of 2022 through March 31st, 2023. Thank you, Commissioner Brown.
Okay, thank you. If there are no questions, is there a motion to execute the one-year option to renew the professional services agreement with Jane Ignacio for graphic artist services at the same rate of $85 an hour with total compensation capped at $95,000 over the term of April 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023.
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Cressy.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is approval of a scope of work agreement with Protivity Government Services, Inc., which is a staffing division of Robert Half Government, through the U.S. Government Services Agreement Procurement System for temporary staffing support for the 2022 and 2023 elections.
So I could,
Yes.
go ahead, Ms. Walls, if you prefer.
I'll speak on that. Madam Chair and fellow commissioners, I am recommending that we enter into a contract with Protivity Government Services through their staffing division, Robert Half. This would be for temporary staffing support for the 2022 and 2023 elections. Just a little background on this. We are in the process of soliciting a formal solicitation for an RFP for temporary staffing for both the warehouse and our central office headquarters here. However, until that process is complete, we find it necessary, some departments are already asking for help. So we find it necessary to enter into this contract as we did in the March 2020 elections with Robert Half. This is a previously procured and negotiated contract, or GSA, through the city of Chicago with Robert Half. And this would give us, again, the staffing support that we need. It's somewhat of a stopgap contract, if you will, until we complete our procurement process. And to be totally transparent here, we did actually issue an RFP for the warehouse temporary staffing solicitation. However, we quickly found out that solicitation the scope of work needed to be refined and better detailed. We got several questions from vendors, so that was an indication to me that we really needed to take a step back, look at that scope of work and make sure that it was clear and concise as possible. So there was a decision made to cancel that particular solicitation, take it off the market, revamp the scope, and then we reissued that last week. So again, this is just a temporary stopgap and to give some needed help while we go through the process. Again, this is for 2022, 2023 elections. The term of this contract will begin March 8th, 2022. It will expire May 31st, 2023. And this is in a not to exceed amount of $1.8 million.
Thank you. Any questions?
One quick question just for the record. And how has it been dealing with Protivity in the past?
We got some mixed reviews, but I think because of COVID and everything else that was going on at the time, we were just trying to, just balance things as much as we could. So, there's not many companies out there that have the capacity to do the kind of work that we need at the warehouse, and that any given time we could have 150 temporary staff people out there. So it's just, there's not that many companies on the marketplace, but Protivity, I think they stepped up. They did a good job, but because of all the other extenuating circumstances around COVID and just what we were going through, it was a giant feat, I think, for any company at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Well, if there are no further questions, I would entertain a motion to approve a statement of work agreement with Protivity Government Services, subject to the terms and conditions of GSA contract number GS-35F-0280X for temporary staffing services in the categories mentioned, which is data entry clerk and a computer specialist, one. And this contract, the statement of work agreement would be not to exceed 1.8 million and run from March 8th, 2022 through May 31st, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
And second by Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As a little background, the FBI determined that in 2017, Russian actors had hacked into the State Board of Elections database. And we've heard other reports from around the country, and election security became quite a hot topic, as we needed to make sure that we were protecting ourselves from foreign actors. That was an infiltration unlike what election authorities were used to. That following spring in 2018, the Cook County Clerk's Office and our office, working together, identified an individual named Rahul Patel, who serves as an election information security officer. And since that time, he has been providing services both to the county clerk's office for elections and to our office as a board. And so there was an IGA, an intergovernmental agreement, struck between the county and the board, and it has lapsed, and we would like to renew that IGA now to continue receiving Mr. Patel's services. The only real change here is that the county has changed his title from that of election information security officer to that of cybersecurity director. But obviously the services he provides are the same.
Okay.
And the board would split one half of his annual compensation in exchange for one half of his services.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County for shared expenses and services from the county's director of cybersecurity with a cost to the board that shall not exceed $71,000 per year in exchange for no less than one half of the services provided by the director of cybersecurity, and for a term beginning on the final date of execution by the County of Cook and running through December 31st, 2024.
So moved by Commissioner Brown.
Seconded by Commissioner Cressy.
Motion approved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is legal report.
Thank you again, Madam Chair and Commissioners. On Friday afternoon of last week, the federal court entered a preliminary injunction order in the lawsuit that was filed by the Libertarian Party of Illinois, previously reported on the case, and the fact that the board has been excused as a defendant. We were originally named in the case, but there's no relief sought against our board. Nonetheless, the preliminary injunction order was in favor of the Libertarian Party. The issues in the case are which offices are they're considered established under law and therefore entitled to hold the primary election this June. So the county clerk's office, which has the statutory ballot certification authority here for these offices, had previously designated Libertarian Party as established for countywide offices only. This order now includes county board commissioners in all districts and county board of review commissioners in all districts. And so the county clerk's office now has updated its information on those offices. We will make a similar revision in our next board meeting to our calendar. But those party offices, the Libertarian Party candidates will be eligible for primaries in those offices if two or more candidates file papers.
What is the direct effect on us aside from making changes to the actual ballot?
It just merely being prepared for that we're going to get a ballot certification that may include Libertarian Party candidates in those offices. I have actually been speaking with our ballot department on these issues, frankly, since back when the calendars were being created. So I would say the litigation is not necessarily a surprise to me. And so I have been discussing this possibility with the staff. And so we're So not much change to us really in the grand scheme of things.
Okay. Thank you.
Then we've also, with Trish Sheehy's assistance, we've been reaching out to the hearing officers for electoral board, finding out who's available. Had to strike off Commissioner Brown from our list this year, but that's all right. She'll enjoy seeing things in the actual electoral board meetings. So we'll have I'll be sending you the list of who's available, and we'll finalize contracts with them at the next board meeting for the electoral board hearings that will begin on Monday, the 28th of this month. We obviously don't yet know how many cases will be filed. Commissioner Cressy asked this morning about how many candidates are filing. We're keeping a close eye on that. The more candidates, the more objections usually. But I'm hoping that we might get through this schedule on the electoral board with just Friday hearings. I'll communicate with you commissioners individually to set a time for that. We'll just have to see how many objections come in to see if additional electoral board meetings will be required. And then, so we're also working, of course, on updating the draft electoral board rules in anticipation of those hearings. I welcome any feedback from you commissioners. I'm also talking about it with the staff members and, of course, attorneys and practitioners from around town. I will say the attorneys and practitioners tend to think that our rules are the gold standard, so they don't have a lot of changes to suggest. We will be continuing to allow for video hearings. The initial round, the first day of cases, will be in person because it's just an administrative, it's an impossibility, but close to it to try to do all those hearings by video. The county and the state board are working the same. And then for easier hearings, status calls and motion hearings and so forth, they can choose, the hearing officer and parties can choose to do those by video. And then, of course, the rules will still authorize the board to have any reasonable COVID protocols for social distancing and masks and so forth, depending on how things are at the present time. Questions on that? I'm welcome to take. Otherwise, that would end my legal report.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have no financial report today. Mr. Lasker, do we have any, oh, I'm sorry, Trish, do we have any public comment?
No, we do. No, we do not have any public comments.
Mr. Lasker, do we have the need for executive session today?
Not today, thank you.
Okay, if not, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting. Is there a motion?
So move, Commissioner Cressy.
Second by Commissioner Brown.
Motion properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.